Righto, today's podcast guest is Mr. Harold Bink. Don't know if your name's actually Harold, but we're going to run with that.
Can be whatever you want it to be.
Yeah. What's happening, mate? Just living that Goldie lifestyle.
Yeah, I just actually rolled in from the compound, sweating my butt off. Couldn't even see where I was going because so much sweat was like going into my eyes and that. But yeah, just been training, riding, and trying to stay out of trouble. It's just been Christmas holidays, so working off all that Christmas food and stuff.
Yeah, you've got a bit of a Fitstagram going.
Fitstagram, that's pretty much all I do. I've been enjoying training more than I do riding lately. That's pretty much just my thing now. I just do push-ups every day.
Have you always been super into fitness, or was it because when you started riding you were like, fuck, I need to actually throw this thing around?
As far as riding freestyle motocross, you don't need to be fit one bit to do it. I think it's more just to know how, like, being fit, you can crash and just take hits and you sort of bounce and you can get back up. I used to not be fit when I was doing freestyle, and I broke my right leg twice, smashed my right heel, broke my left leg once, and then smashed on my wrist, and I dislocated my shoulder 8 times. I had a fair few injuries, and then ever since I've been really taking my fitness seriously, I've had probably like 6 really bad crashes, and I haven't broken a bone since or dislocated my shoulder.
Does fitness come pretty easy to you? Because you're pretty fucking jacked, really. But just genetically, you know what I mean? Like, some dudes can work out for ages and they won't look like you look. But you know what I mean? Like, did it sort of come kind of natural or easy?
I think it just comes with all the beer drinking outside of it.
Just keeps the carbs.
Yeah. As far as training goes, we do some really high intensive training. We'll do an hour of just an hour circuit straight. So a really popular workout we do is called the 1,000, and it's got 10 push-ups, 10 pull-ups, 10 leg lunges, squats, just all these bodyweight stuff, and you do 10 sets of 10 reps, 10 laps, and time yourself and see how fast you can do it. The first time I did it, it took me an hour and 10 minutes.
No shit.
And then I got my time down to the fastest time I've ever done it was 26 minutes.
Fuck, that's a pretty drastic improvement.
Yeah, so it's pretty high intensity workout stuff. But I think living on the Gold Coast, it's a pretty fun lifestyle.
Yeah.
And, going to a fitness class is like socialising with me mates. If I try and socialise with my mates outside of fitness, we just end up drinking beers. So I try and go to fitness classes, and that's how I socialise with my friends.
Is it cool too then, like, to be with a group of dudes that, because you know, like, you get those people that do like, oh, New Year's resolution, I'm going to cut out this, I'm going to cut out that, I'm going to cut out this, and I'm going to start exercising, and you go from like a fat piece of shit over Christmas and just eating whatever you want, no exercise, drinking, and then just go straight into like cutting the cord and then going hardcore fitness, and then everyone drops it. So is that like part of the sustainability for you, is that you just, all your mates that you train with are all drinking beers as well, so it's like pretty relaxed, and does it make it easy to actually just keep doing it all the time?
Yeah, definitely. Anyone that says, oh, I've got a new me, resolutions, posting motivational quotes or whatever, I sort of laugh at those people.
Yeah, like, who are you trying to convince, me or you?
Yeah, it's like, what are you doing? Like, go home, what are you doing? Just, if you're going to do it. Like, stop talking about it.
Just do some push-ups.
Do something. But no, I find the biggest thing, I've never dieted ever in my whole life. I actually did a fitness class this morning at Ever's Training, and they're talking about calories the whole time. And I was like, what are calories? I don't but no, as far as watching what you eat and partying on the weekend or whatever it is, I don't follow by any of that stuff. I just make sure I don't skip a training session, however hungover you are. Yeah, hungover, no matter what it is, I just will make sure I don't skip it. And if you can follow that routine, it's pretty easy, and you can get a pretty good balance of a lifestyle out of that. You get the best of both worlds. Yeah,
and you're not like, because anytime you restrict anything completely, like, people always want what they can't have.
Yeah.
So if you're going, oh, I'd love to eat a fucking Milo ice cream right now, but I can't, then it's like, what are you going to want to eat? All you're going to want to eat is a Milo ice cream.
Yeah, and then you're going to rebel and have 10 of them.
Exactly. So it's like, yeah, that sort of lifestyle. I'm actually trying to do a bit of that at the moment. It's just like, just go for it, but just do something every day.
Yeah, it probably helps that I only hit puberty last week, so my metabolism's still going like a racehorse.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like, some people have just predisposed genetics to be fit. Like Maddie's had a six pack his whole life.
Yeah.
I say it all the time, but it's like, it's fucking shits me. Like we're only 18 months apart and he's just like forever just had a six pack. So some people it comes easier to. That's why I was curious if it's like the case where you were like a little fat kid, or that's like now you've got fit, or you've just always been like. But I feel like a dude with as much energy across the board as you have, like you're not going to be fat just because like putting you inside for 20 minutes would be a death sentence to you.
Yeah, I definitely hate sitting still, that's for sure.
Pull this a bit closer.
Yeah.
Because that arm can just move however you want it to, you know.
Sweet.
Fuck. Yeah, just threw me off my track. It's a crazy time to be alive, Harry Bink. Like,
yeah, we've so pretty much last year I had 231 days away from home. Traveling, just being on tour, and then that was away from home. I reckon 200 of those days were out of the country.
Yeah.
And I spent 4 months living in America on an American tour, Nitro Circus tour. We toured like Japan, New Zealand, Australia, South Africa, America. We did heaps of different places, and going so crazy, just going from place to place. And then when I was at home, I was still doing other things, I did a Spartans TV show not that long ago, and it was just a total.
What was that about? Was that like that American Ninja Warrior style thing?
Yeah, correct. It actually doesn't come out until April this year. So I signed a lot of contracts saying that I'm not allowed to talk.
NDAs and shit.
That I'm not allowed to talk about it. But pretty much it comes out in April this year. But it was something really different. Jackson Strong, Josh Sheen, and myself. We basically tackled an obstacle course as a team, and it was something different. But we enjoyed it. But yeah, just going from all different events. Last year was crazy. I wasn't in the same state or country for longer than 4 or 5 days last year. So I've just had the last month at home, and it's just like I'm relearning how to live, how to do everything, and how to go. Like I feel down a lot of the days, and I'm like, why do I feel so like down, bored, or whatever it is? But then I'm just trying to train my brain. Oh no, that's how, like that's how normal life is. And trying to get in a rhythm again is pretty hard, but it's also heaps of fun, and it's cool to catch up with all your mates and get in a rhythm of living at home in Burleigh. Yeah,
because that's like, how long have you been doing the travel thing for? Because I've been traveling probably since like 2008. So it's like 10 years that I've been. Like traveling's been my normal, and I'm at a point now where I'm like, fucking give me something normal. Like just staying here, even like sleeping on Maddie's couch is just, I love that now, because it's like I'm in Burleigh for like a week, so it's like I'm starting to crave that. But you haven't sort of been doing this whole travel thing for that long, have you? So to you, like, you still craving that shit?
Yeah, it's I'm still trying to get used to it all. I do throw off being away, living the party life. After every Nitro Circus show, they throw an after party, bar tabs, everything. So it gets pretty wild. Everyone always asks me what's it like being on Nitro Circus tour. I could lie to you and give you the bluff answer, but the honest truth is like going on a Bucks party for a couple months at a time. So it can get pretty wild. But then the only difference is you're on this crazy Bucks party, but then you wake up some mornings and it's show day, and you have to do your job and pull your head in and do what we do what we know how to do. But I've been on Nitro Circus for 3 years now. Doing it full time, and it's it's pretty full on. It's definitely everything I ever dreamed for as a kid. Yeah. So the old saying, "Be careful what you wish for," that definitely slapped me in the face, because it's real now, and I love every bit of it, and I'm very grateful for it. But as far as knowing what I want, I never know what I want. I just go with it, and I just know that as a kid I dreamed of being a freestyle motocross rider. So I'm just do everything I can to slave away at that each day and keep living the dream.
So you're probably like the first generation of kids, because how old are you?
23.
Yeah, so you're a kid that was like, how old would you have been when the first Nitro came out? Or like when you started, you probably would have only been like 6 or 7, eh?
Yeah, correct. The first Nitro Circus came out, I think the first show they ever did was in 2006, and I was in, was it 2006? Sorry. The TV episodes were like out when I was still in primary school.
Yeah.
So to watch all like the Travis Pastrana and all that stuff, I made sure like my grandparents had Foxtel, and
so they like recorded.
I pre-recorded every single Nitro Circus episode, and I'd watch every episode like 5 times, and then every DVD that come out, I'd get it for Christmas or my birthday, or beg my parents for it, and I'd watch them all at least 12 times, and. Then I'd be out in the backyard trying to make my own jumps and trying to make my own Nitro Circus DVDs and run around with my dad's video camera and stuff. And then, like as a kid or whatever, like people would ask you funny random questions. If you could meet or be anyone in the world, who would it be? And I always said Travis Pastrana, thinking that I would never meet the guy. Yeah. So to as a young kid to be hanging out with him and going to stay at his house, traveling the world with him, it just feels so... like it just doesn't even feel real. It just feels like I'm living in a fairy tale, and it's just like a dream. And then but it's so hard. Every day I'm riding or whatever I'm doing, I'm just thinking, man, I'm riding with Travis Pastrana today, and it really is something, and it's definitely pushes you as well. You
know, the best thing about that is, so I was in a similar position of growing up, and I always wanted to be a motocross rider, and I was never good enough, and I knew I wasn't ever going to be a motocross rider, and then that's what led me into like the whole filming thing, and because I knew like all I wanted to do was motocross, and I was like, well, if I can film motocross, I'll be at tracks, and I can take my bike, and I can just ride, and then I can like meet these dudes that I always looked up to. And then for me, that came true, and I ended up going to the States and doing the whole thing and living over there, and I've met everyone. And some of them are just fucking idiots. And Travis is the exact opposite. So I met all these dudes that I looked up to, and like half of them were knobs, right? And I was so gutted, man. Like dudes that I had posters on my wall, and then they were just complete wankers. And then there was the guys like Carmichael was just a legend. Wyndham's a legend. And then Travis was just... I was so nervous. DC asked me to film Travis at like... I think it was the first ever Nitro they ever did in... Well, the first tour anyway, it was in Wollongong. And DC's like, hey, I know you're in Oz, can you go film? And I was like, fuck, I don't want to ruin this, dude. Because like me and Maddie had just watched Nitro Circus flat out as well. We had every DVD, Revelation 199. And I was like, man, I've tainted so many dudes that I spent my life looking up to. Please don't let Travis be one of those dudes. Yeah. Guy is hands down one of the best people on planet Earth. Yeah, exactly. You couldn't describe it any better. He ticks every box. I didn't even know how he's human. I didn't even know. It's like he's just a robot that pleases everyone. It's like a cartoon character. Yeah, it is, and he exists. It's weird. But even like living at his house from the first day I met him, I was like 14 or 15 years old. I actually got VIP tickets, and I went backstage, and I got to meet him at their first ever Nitro Circus tour they did in Australia. And I got to meet him backstage, and he was all jippity, like, hey, I'm Travis Pastrana. Yeah, being Travis. Yeah. And then since then I've been on tours with him. I've stayed at his house. I've went on days with him and his family. I've done everything you could think of with this. Not everything, but I've hung out with this guy a fair bit, and he hasn't changed one bit as a person, from how he represents himself to the public or to his mates or whatever it is. He just has all the time in the world. I've been with him when he's had a crash in the show. He can barely walk. Yeah. He's trying to get back. He's grumpy. He's tired. Whatever. And then there was like 20 kids that come up to him from like some around the corner of somewhere when we're in South Africa, and he took the time, and he sat there for nearly an hour signing posters, doing everything for these kids. And I don't think any other human being would have enough time in their day to do what he does. And it's, that word genuine, because there's a lot of people that, and some of those kind of dudes I mentioned before, they'll put on that face of like, I'm this nice family guy, I'm this dude, but really as soon as the cameras are off, the guy just turns into like he's just a dick. Yeah, exactly. And like, that's all good, man, you like do that. Yeah. But Travis is one of those dudes that is crazy legit, like just a constant, across the board, like he's that dude all the time.
Yeah, so everyone that does their Instagrams or whatever they do in life, if a camera's put in front of them, you're probably going to get 5 times more out of the person that you would. As soon as cameras go away with Travis, you actually get an even more awesome guy behind the cameras. It's ridiculous. As cool as you think he is on TV, he's 10 times cooler behind the cameras, which is really rare in a person, because usually people are just trying to look good in front of cameras and do whatever they do. But that dude is a gnarly guy behind the cameras.
He mentioned, because I don't know if you remember, but I actually filmed with you and a couple of the boys with Alan Hardy that day.
Yep.
Yeah, and that was the first time
at Clinton Moore's house.
No, that was wasn't it Marshall's place?
No, Clinton Moore. That was up at Bundaberg.
Yeah, no. It was at Robbie's, I'm pretty sure, and we did like a Milwaukee.
That
and
one.
I had the slow motion camera there.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That was for the Milwaukee clip.
Yeah, and I'd never heard of you.
Yeah.
And then we're like doing this stuff, and I'm just filming like whatever Alan said. And then you just start doing these like rock solid backflips. And I was like, fuck off. Like, I'm out of freestyle touch. Like, I don't really follow it. And I was like, I didn't know that was even a thing. So like, I just randomly meet you. And then that shit went down, and I was blown away by it. And then, so that trip I was, your name come up like just in conversation. And I said to Trav, I was like, I actually filmed with Harry like a while ago. And I had, doing the slow motion shit with him. And he's like, I fucking love that kid. And like, he says that about you and Dusty are like, you're so high up there on his list. And I just thought that was super rad, because like, you haven't been doing it long, you know what I mean? And to earn the respect of that dude, that heavy, to where he's like going out of his way, talking about you unprompted. I was like, yeah, Harry must be pretty legit. Yeah,
that feels pretty weird, him saying that, especially, because I did grow up watching him thinking I'd never meet him.
Yeah.
But I think a lot of that comes down to I think Trav loves any yes mens. If he puts a dare, puts a bet, puts anything on the table, if you do it, you're going to be his favourite kind of guy. Well, and he throws some ridiculously gnarly challenges at you.
Yeah,
definitely.
Well, like that day that we were doing 2 straight week, Dusty had never flipped a big bike before.
Oh, wow.
Never done a flip, right? So then I said to Travis, I was like, oi, do you think that you could do a mini flip off one of these things? Like, we were filming this Red Bull clip, and he was in a Hawaiian shirt, shorts, some old school knee pads and boots, and that was it. And he was just cruising around. Fuck, I can't remember the name of the track, but it's like an old school famous Florida track he used to race as a kid. And he was sending it around the track, and then we're like, dude, we should try and get some freestyle style shit in this, do a mini flip. And he's like, I'll do a mini flip if Dusty does a mini flip. And Dusty was like, and Tara's like, fuck that, he's not doing that. And then Dusty was like, line it up. I've got the footage on my laptop, dude. I'll show you. We'll actually put it on the podcast. But yeah, dude, true to his word, Dusty just sat. It took him a couple goes, like, in terms of like running up to the lip, and dude, it's sketchy. Like, I'll show you, it's pretty legit. So Trav goes and says, this is what you got to do. Does a mini flip, and it was just off the side of a sand jump, man. We just like made it with our feet, and then Dusty just goes, and he ended up like 30 feet in the air, dude, and landed it completely perfect.
Oh my god!
But like you were saying about yes man, that's why I think that's why I liked you and Dusty so much, is because it's like challenge accepted.
Yep, definitely. Mini flips scare the hell out of me. I've attempted 6 and I've landed 3 of the 6.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So mini flips.
What's hard about them? Is it just because it's so much acceleration? Yeah,
there's a split second where you have to power, and like what you said, Dusty went really high and long.
Yeah.
You can, if you power the tiniest bit too early, it will G you out and you won't rotate at all, and you'll just land on your head. So there's not a lot to mini flips. It's really crucial that you power in the right spot, and it's just in that split second. And that's pretty gnarly to think Dusty did one.
On a RM250.
Yeah, that's gnarly.
Just sent it.
That's Sandy. I've actually landed on my head 3 times trying a mini flip, but the first 3 I did, I landed. And then, I landed one, crashed one, landed one. Yeah, crashed one. Just did the odd, the even.
I wonder if Dusty's ever done one again.
Yeah, I doubt he would have. He's like, he probably claimed it. Yep, done it. Don't need to do it.
It was like, and he's so modest too. Like, he's not a dude that's like, fuck yeah. Like,
Ah.
he just rode off. Like, everyone jumped all over him, like Nitro style, but he was just like,
Yeah,
he was
dude.
like, cool.
Yeah, he does the most gnarly stuff in the show. He one of the things he does, he has no shirt on, like flippers, swimming flippers, boardies, and he goes
the boogie
down
board.
on a boogie board on his belly down the Gigantor ramp, hits the jump, makes the boogie board do a 360, and then lands on his feet on the boogie board and rides away. And it's just like he does it without a shirt on, like just nothing. And if he comes off, that resi is just gonna eat him up alive.
Yeah.
And he just does it and he claims it. And he's like, yup. And then everyone just loses it. And then he's just super modest dude, just claiming it.
Yeah, he's such a chiller, eh? Like, if you said to me, like if Tara brought out Dusty and you were just going on like a double date with them, and you're like, hey, this is Dusty, he works at an accounting firm.
Yeah.
You'd be like, yeah, okay, I can see it. Like, he just doesn't have any like big, like over the top kind of, you know what I mean? He's just,
Tara's always calling him a pussy, calling him out. Sco drink.
oh, dude,
Yeah, she's pretty wild.
she's a health hazard.
I think she has bigger muscles than him as well.
Oh, she's a unit, eh?
We had a competition. I think it was how fast you'd do 100 push-ups, and she'd
win everyone.
Yeah, she beat all of us.
When we did we did the Don Johnson lap, so the sit down, it's like you just have to hold it flat and you go throughout the buoys, and yeah, you have to have a drink, and then that gets you a lap. And she put on a unicorn mask that you could barely see out of, and maybe this was on the stand up. And she smoked Travis, and Travis was
What?
pissed, dude. Like, fully pissed. Wouldn't get out of the water, and everyone's like, dude, it's over. You can't beat her.
So good.
And like the style she had like an open Hawaiian t-shirt and just like this unicorn helmet on, and was just throwing down like nobody could touch her.
That's ridiculous. She's such a boy, and just
Yeah,
send her.
Yeah, she's so
She'll
gnarly.
claim it as well. She'll just claim it.
Oh yeah, she'll make you realize that you suck.
Yeah, she's called me a pussy a number of times, definitely.
You probably earned it.
Yeah. She probably outdid me on that one. We've done heaps of drinking games, and she's won so many times.
She's just obviously there's a lot of talent there, but she's just one of those people that just has like that gnarly mental edge. You know what I mean? Like, she lives on the fact that she's mentally, like, she could be a Navy SEAL. Like, she's that, you know what I mean? Like,
and
that kind of attitude.
And Dusty married her.
I know. Did she marry Dusty? Or did Dusty marry her?
I think she might have dropped a knee to him for sure.
Oh, that's so classic.
Definitely.
So I was saying before, like, it's a fucking crazy time to be alive, because like a hypo kid like you gets paid to just be fucking out of control, which is like, if you didn't have Nitro Circus, you'd be out of control in what, like, you're just a ball of energy.
I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing, but it is a really fun life.
But
it's almost too fun.
This opportunity wasn't available. Like, if you were 30 years, like born 30 years previously, like, there's no Nitro Circus. There's no, like,
Evel Knievel.
yeah, like, but where would that energy go without it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the same thing. I grew up in Canberra, and I was always running amok in Canberra, getting up to mischief, doing some pretty wild things, and I always really wanted to be a professional freestyle rider. I never hit a freestyle. I never started freestyle until I was 17 years old. I was just I was doing my carpentry apprenticeship, started that when I was 16, just working, doing all that sort of stuff, and I was just so restless, so bored. I knew there was something outside of there. And then as soon as I moved to the Gold Coast, I got to live this awesome lifestyle where it was ride your dirt bike, go train,
party.
go party. That's all, party. It's just the party life now. It's just a way of transforming your life so you can live an endless holiday. Whether it's going to the beach, pool parties, like just whatever it is, it's just such a socializing atmosphere where you go and party, but you're partying with all your work colleagues. When I say work colleagues, I mean your mates that you ride with or that you do events with or whatever it is. And it's a very productive lifestyle. You're not just partying and getting all messy, but you sort of do a bit of talking business over in the corner, and then, oh look, there's that chick there, I'm gonna go talk to her now. And yeah, it's a pretty cool it's a really cool lifestyle, that's for sure.
were you just a fucking terror as a kid, like at school? Because you see, like kids, like
where are these podcasts going? I'm not sure what I should be saying right
just
now.
Apple, mate, just Apple. But like, you can say whatever you want for the record. As whatever you want to say, you can say.
Yeah,
I don't have
right.
any, there's no sponsors or rules. You can say whatever the fuck you want. But it's like a kid like you, right? That has to go into a class with 30 other kids in grade 1. And like, I don't know if you're a hyperactive kid or not. I'm assuming you're fucking out of control from day one because a lot of the guys I know like you were. So it's like, do you need that outlet of this kind of, like what you do on a motorbike's retarded. Like it's so crazy what you do, but is that the level of outlet you need to keep yourself in like that sanity sort of, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you need to be, you've got that much energy and there's that much going on that, yeah, like you said, if even just a few days in the Goldie, you're like bored and you're getting down and stuff like that.
Yeah,
so
you
it's
start riding cafe races, start trying to jump that or whatever it is. Yeah, definitely. So going through school, I always made sure I got my schoolwork done, but I did everything I could possibly. I used to jump out of the window of the classroom and on like a double-story level and try and always do like parkour here and there, backflip off stuff all the time. A famous thing we always used to do at school were like these deodorant bombs. We get a balloon and spray deodorant in them, tie them up and then hide them somewhere like in a classroom or something, and then you light a little fire trail to it and it hits it and it's like a big fireball, and then you do your trail so that no one can see where the fire trail came from, and then all of a sudden there's a big fire flame thing in the classroom and the teacher's losing it, and we just all would keep our straight face and like get away with it. And I got away with like so many of them, and I got like some of my best mates suspended for it, but I actually never got caught for it. We used to light kids' school bags on fire. We used to take firecrackers to school, like just everything you could think of. But I did finish my year 12. I did get through it all.
Oh, that's all right.
Yeah. So,
good on you, mate.
Yeah. But we used to just, get that restless at school, like whether if you had the jelly crystals and put them in all the toilets, and then the toilets would get all clogged up because it makes all the water go to jelly, and that we thought that was pretty funny at the time. Whether it's taking
I think it's pretty funny now.
carton of eggs to school or whatever it was. We used to let down the teachers' tyres.
But there's like, so what was, like, where do you think that come from? Like, was that just you forever?
I just think it's just anything to get your adrenaline going. When I first got my license, I was into driving real fast and speeding everywhere, and I was just like a sort of like a little rev head kid. I don't know. Just anything to do with getting your adrenaline going. That's what I was sort of all for. And then I actually had a really bad car crash with two of my best mates in the car. We were all 18 at the time. One of my mates was asleep in the swag, in the very back. We'd all had 2 hours of sleep, and he was in the back sleeping in the swag. That we put the canopy on the back of the ute and drilled it in with 4 tech screws to hold the canopy on. And we rolled like 4 times. I went off the road at like probably 100 kilometers an hour, doing like a drift or whatever, and went off through a guardrail off the edge of like a really big embankment hill thing, and rolled like 4 times. And then my buddy in the swag pops the canopy door open.
So
and just
4 tech screws, fucking.
Yeah, and it stayed on, and he comes out scratching his head, and I'm like, dude, are you alright? And he was like, yep, I'm sweet. And then we got away from that like fully just scot-free. So after that, it made me pull my head in, and I've been.
So like
that would have been the worst day of my life. But after that, I've pulled my head in since then, and just to know where to take my adrenaline levels.
But like, so I guess, have you ever thought about why you like that? Because it's obviously you're just born like a little fucking nut that needs to do shit, and it's not a bad thing. You know what I mean?
I don't think so. I don't have ADHD or anything. I'm pretty mellow. I think it's just as a young age, my dad put us on, me and my brother on like in go-karts. He always took us water skiing during the summer. We'd go motorbike riding in the winter. He kept a pretty a wide range of activities, but everything we did sort of had something to do with adrenaline and trying to have as much fun as you possibly can.
But see, we did that shit too, and I'm just never backflipping a motorbike. You know what I mean? Like, I don't actively chase that.
That's
shit,
where
you know
watching
what I mean?
Travis Pastrana DVDs, all them 15 times in a row, it sort of just gets drilled into your head. Yeah, and then you just want to be like Travis, and then that's all I ever. Like some people believe in God, I believe in Travis Pastrana.
That's the best fucking quote ever.
Yeah.
We need to put that on a t-shirt.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that guy's legit. He's like pretty much taught me my ways.
Because he's just got that same gear, man. Like dudes just have a gear where it's just like that send it gear.
Yeah,
and it's like that's where, like you said, that's like your religion is finding, like what is it about it that makes you like froth so hard on it in terms like, so if you broke it down as to like what is the reason you need that in your life?
Well, like what else are you going to do in life? Like, I don't know, like what else are you going to do really? Like to be able to go, I'm going to jump off that building, or I'm going to go and flip that dirt bike that many times and land on that, or hit that jump and fly from there to there. Like it sort of makes you like a Superman. I don't know. It just sort of makes you feel pretty invincible or whatever it is. Like you're conquering the world. I don't know what it is, but I think like doing an everyday job where you're like picking up a hammer, like when I was doing my carpentry apprenticeship, I was like, I'd way rather be sending it right now. And then sort of got to the point when I was working, when I was doing my carpentry apprenticeship, I'd never even tried freestyle, but I knew I really wanted to do it. I did like a couple 12-hour days, and I was freshly into the carpentry business, and I was like, geez, I'm not going to do this
like every day. This is forever if I keep doing this.
Yeah, I'm not going to do this every day for the rest of my life. I'm going to do what I love, and I'm gonna do it, and like I'm gonna give it everything I can. I'll go down as many times as I can or whatever,
as you have to, sort of thing.
Yeah, to get that done. And then before I knew it, it all just became reality really quick. When I was 17, I started hitting my first ramp and started trying a few tricks, and within 6 months I learnt like hill clickers, no hand catwalks, lazy boys, supermans, and my first backflip after like 6 months of trying freestyle. I was lucky enough, Steve Minnie let me use his foam pit after pestering him heaps on Facebook Messenger. Just kept hitting him up, and I sent him a video one day of me riding, and then he said, all right, are you free this weekend? And I was pretty much there in a heartbeat, and over 2 days I learnt how to flip to dirt, and he just kept doing them since.
That's fucking crazy. Yeah, like you just literally come out of nowhere. That's like, because I was like, I sort of had an idea of who was doing shit in freestyle or whatever, but it was like, here's this Harry Bink kid doing like the craziest shit I've ever seen in terms of freestyle. Like that rock solid backflip was like, that legitimately blew my mind that day, because I just didn't even know that people were doing it. So it's like to just come out of nowhere and do that. It took me back pretty hard.
Yeah, that trick still haunts me to this day. I've done easily over 100 of them. And it's so scary. I seen Tucker do a rock solid backflip 1 year. I can't remember what year it was. It was 2012. He did a rock solid backflip at X Games for the first time, and I hadn't even done a seat grab or a Superman yet upright. And I was doing my first year of freestyle when Tucker did his first rock solid backflip, and I was like, holy crap, that's the coolest trick ever. And I like thought, man, I want to learn that. And my goal was just to learn it upright. And I was like, to learn it upright, I was so stoked. And I'm like, all right, I just got to keep slaving away. And I just sort of had a vision and just kept chipping away at it. And then, and then eventually I was pushing towards it, trying to get a spot on Nitro, pesting people, doing everything I could, messaging and whatnot. And then I just kept trying it, and then one day I finally started learning it, and then I pretty much got the instant call up off Nitro, and that trick is what got me my job on Nitro Circus. And still to this day, without that trick, I think it would have left. I probably wouldn't have been as far as ahead in my freestyle without that trick. And then the stupid idea comes up for Nitro World Games. We're like, geez, what tricks are we going to do for World Games? Like, I'm thinking to myself, all right, first year in 2017, I got 2 4th place. I got a 4th place in freestyle and best trick. And I got a 4th place with an Indian air front flip. And then I was rattling my brain. I'm like, well, how can I win this competition? And they're like, well, your specialty trick is a rock solid backflip. Why don't you do it in a front flip? And then me and Willie were talking about it at a Nitro Circus after party. You're like, what a
business and pleasure. Business and pleasure.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's where I was coming in with the whole after party. Have a few drinks, you're killing it, get a few dumb ideas, and then we follow through with them dumb ideas. That's why I really encourage our partying, because anything we come up with, we don't come up with it when we're sober, because you just get too spooked out by the idea.
Yeah, yeah. You got to commit and then be like, fuck, I said that.
Yeah. You got to have a few cans of courage to come through with it. But, so the front flip rock solid, and then I pretty much went to the foam pit at the 50-60 compound and slaved for like 2 months trying to figure out this trick. And
no shit.
Yeah, just beat myself up, and I got work trying to do this trick, and like just over and over again of landing on my head, missing the bike, and then sometimes when you'd get anywhere near like landing flat, you just get ejected, like do that front flip ramp into the foam pit. When you land front wheel down, it just drives your body weight straight into the front of
into the bars.
Yeah, into the front of the handlebars. And anyone that you get near landing, you actually get winded and feel like you pretty much fracture your ribs. You get like, it's like getting punched in the chest as hard as possible.
And so you've got to like stand up at the roll in before every time you go to the foam pit, knowing you're about to get punched in the gut as hard as you can.
I commit to this and get this perfect, I'm going to get worked. And the better you get it, the worse you get pumped into the handlebars, because you're rotating around more. So the ideal spot was to under rotate it, but then that's not going to get the job done when you actually try and do it. Exactly. So you sort of had to get the full job done. So it was a massive learning curve, and then got to World Games. I actually had to have a month off the bike before World Games because I tore a muscle off my hip, and it was really important for me to let it heal after a crash doing a rock solid backflip, because I was training so hard all week in the foam pit doing the front flip rock solids. The following weekend I had a Nitro Circus show in Darwin, crashed a rock solid backflip, hit my head. I was concussed really bad for a week, couldn't drive for a week, and had to take it super easy. And then eventually I couldn't even ride for the 3 weeks coming into it because of my hip, and then my confidence levels were down coming into that comp. But then so you'd never done it to the resi or anything before definitely not.
Like your comp run?
Yeah, so I hadn't done it so I hadn't done it for a month going into World Games, but luckily World Games, they have a practice session, airbag set up, and you can practice your tricks, whatever tricks you're going to do in the competition. They had a big airbag landing, so you could practice your tricks into it, and there was a couple practice sessions, and I attempted around 40, roughly, it was like 40, like just under 40, around 40 front flip rock solid into the airbag, and I rode away from 2 of them.
No
like
shit.
Barely.
40?
Yeah, and I rode away from 2 of them barely, like. And there was probably like 6 different practice sessions that we had, and I was slaving away, and in the meantime I was getting beat up, winded, hit my head, like I was exhausted. It was their summertime, so it was really hot.
Yeah,
some of the days we'd ride, you'd actually, if you touch the bag just with your hands, you'd get burnt, like it would burn your hands, and it was that hot in Salt Lake City, so it made it pretty gnarly.
And it's just so dry there. It's like at elevation too.
Oh, it's ridiculous. Yeah, riding at elevation makes the bikes less powerful, and then means, well, like outside of that, I'm trying to think of my freestyle run with all the other front foot ramps, like the 75-foot front foot ramp, the normal jumps, like with even just like my rock solid backflip, that's still such a hard trick for me to do.
Yeah.
Then they have the 120 ramp, and there's all these different ramps, all different speeds, and then you're trying to think about doing your rock solid front flip all on the same night. That it all happens within like 4 hours of each other, from the competition to best trick, and then it was just. Like, it was like, for me that day, it was like I was going to war, and if I don't come home tonight, or if I don't live through it, so be it. I don't care. I'm here to get this done, and that's how I mentally processed it. And basically going into that day, it just felt like, man, if I get through this day alive, it's going to be...
That's an achievement.
Yeah, it's going to be something.
That's what I was thinking, like, before, is that people... do you look at people that are like quote unquote normal, like living a normal life, and you go, fuck, you're missing out on some shit?
Yeah, definitely.
Because
all my best friends, I'm like, dude, you guys are living in a bubble.
Yeah, like, because you must look, because to mentally, dude, I get like, so like, I did a music video once where I had like 250 people on set, and I'm just fucking peaking all, like that night before I couldn't sleep, and it's like the stress of doing something where there's like so much consequence based on one day, and if one thing goes fucking wrong, your day's done. Then there's thousands and thousands of dollars that go, your
definitely.
reputation, you know what I mean? Like there's so much riding on like one thing, and that's like physically there's nothing riding on it for me. So for you to go through that with all that, like the physical consequences that are, could basically, you could fucking die. Like people do die. And it's like, you've got to go to bed the night before knowing that, I'm going to fucking die trying this. Like, where does that mentality? Because I mean, like you're saying, you're doing crazy shit when you're a kid and rolling cars, like, but you're not driving around going like, there's no premeditative thought of like, all right, I'm going to hit this turn as hard as I can. If I don't come home, that's all good. Like that's just you being fucking reckless and having fun. But to go to bed the night before and like you said, you've got that attitude of like, I'm going to fucking war. I'm going to die trying this. What's that like to just literally sit in bed that night and have those thoughts in your head?
To even sleep the night before, it's pretty hard. You have the most restless sleep and you're on edge, and it's just like you are so on edge, and I can't even describe the feeling. But no matter how scared you are, the more scared you are, the bigger reward you have after it. So it comes all with the highs and lows. But coming into that trick, knowing how beat up I was and how scary it was, and just like these ramps are like they just eject you to the moon. The landing ramp was like something like 12 meters tall. So like when you're looking at the back of that, a big wall, if you just like hit the back of the landing and just fall to the flat, you'd probably die just from that hit right there.
Yeah.
So like you're thinking, I'm going to front flip this bike. My bike weighs 120 kilos. I weigh like 75 kilos. And then I'm going to go to the back of the bike, throw it away, catch it, and then try and ride out of it. And without over-rotating, if you over-rotate to front flip, you're basically going to hit the deck, and then your bike's going to just drive you into the ground. And there's all these thoughts that go through it. And then what you said with all the crowd, you got all these thousands of people. You've got Travis Pastrana there, the commentator, the guy that you grew up watching, your idol, and now he's commentating you, going, oh, this guy's the star, he's the guy to watch for tonight. And the pressure that puts on you because you've just wanted to impress this guy your whole life.
Plus you've landed 2 of 40.
Yeah, coming into that. And I'm like, gee, like it's a real, you just really got to believe, like they say, believe and achieve, believe in yourself, whatever it is. That's like an understatement. You just got to be like, as I said, you're going to war. I'm going to give this everything I can do to land this trick. So I'm sitting there looking at the ramp, click my bike into gear, right at this ramp. I'm like, I'm going to give this a fucking red hot crack. Come in, give it everything I've got. It was scary as hell looking at that landing with just no airbag, straight landing. Like, I'm just like, when I was riding at the ramp, I thought, I was like, I could never walk again after this. Like, this could end your life. Anything can happen. So I've come in, gave it everything I've got, and thought I had it, got back to the bars, and then kept rotating. And I was like, oh, where's the landing? And then over-rotated a bit, got pumped, went over the bars, and then I actually didn't know where I was for a second. I didn't know what happened. And then I was standing up, and there was medics in my face going, are you okay? What are you doing? Like, can you go again? Whatever. And I was like thinking, like, where am I? What am I doing? Like, oh, that's right, I'm at World Games. I just did best trick. Oh, crap, I tried it. Oh, wait, where's my bike? And then I could see my bike. And then the medic's yelling at me, oi, are you okay? Can you talk to us? And then I just pushed him out of the way and just sprinted to my bike, jumped to my bike. It was all TV time, and they said, they explained it to us very thorough before. If you want to do your second attempt, you have to get back to your bike straight away. And after that, I didn't actually know... It felt like it was like, I don't know, it felt like it was half an hour ago when I did my first attempt. Yeah. So I've just jumped on my bike, pinned it back, and then jumped straight back on my bike, and then got there. They just put an ad on TV, reset myself, ripped the visor off my helmet because I'd snapped it, and reset myself, got it all done. They're like, all right, you can go. I'm like, all right, I'm going for this. Go, stalled my bike. I'm just sitting there trying to kick my bike. My bike wouldn't start. I'm like, fuck this. Kicking my bike, like all the people in the crowd, live TV, trying to start this bike. I got it going. All right, here goes nothing. Clicked my bike into gear, rode at the ramp, did the exact same thing, but just came in a little bit slower, and it worked. Landed, did it, rode away, and I'm just like, how the hell did that happen? Like, what just happened? And then, so from like the 4 months before that, coming up with the idea of the trick, practicing in the pit, getting worked over and over and over again, crashing on the night, all the crashes that I did with the 40 crashes, it was just so much work went into that trick, and it was ridiculous. So the feeling of landing wheels down, getting gold for Nitro World Games was just the greatest feeling, and every goal, every accomplished, like just everything I dreamed of as a kid. Travis is commentating the event. That was just like my life ticked, like life goals right there. It was sick.
Yeah, when I saw the replays of that whole, just that event, because it was, I guess, best trick. Well, X Games is really what made Travis. Like, that made Travis the Superman that, like, ESPN was behind it. Like, that put him on the map in such a massive way. And then when they abandoned best trick at X Games, it was like there's such a void in the sport. So it was pretty rad that Travis sort of put his money where his mouth was, and then gave you guys like a safer platform as well, because X Games, like, man, like, you remember when he did that first double flip?
Oh, and it was just the landing ramps are still the same.
Like concrete land, or not concrete physically, but like that pretty much is concrete. It's exactly the same
as concrete.
And it's just like the nuts to sit there and do that, and like, so then for him to go, let's push it even further, let's give these guys better ramps, better landings, let's like put their safety first and then see what they can come up with.
Yeah, definitely.
And like, it's pretty special to go and kind of fulfill his vision, I guess, because I mean, he's not competing. So like the dude, I guess, like you were saying, he's been your idol or whatever, the dude that wins Nitro Games Gold Best Trick is the guy that's living what Travis Pastrana started right now. Like, he's you know what I mean?
Pretty cool to be
so that's what's pretty
definitely.
rad. That on that night, that's Travis is commentating, and you lived out his vision for an event. Yeah,
that's now that you sum it up like that is a pretty awesome feeling. Yeah, definitely. Like those new progression ramps, that new Moon Buddha, the 199 ramp that he's designed, you sit it next to a super kicker and it looks like a baby's ramp, and a super kicker is the biggest, steepest ramp you can hit at X Games, and this ramp's just so big and it just shoots you to the moon, and that's his vision of the next chapter of freestyle motocross. So I'm so privileged to be able to be, I don't know, it can be pretty scary at times to be his test dummy for it all.
Guinea pigs.
But I think with if you have a vision and you know what you're doing and you work towards what you know how to do, and you're not just hucking stuff and doing it because he told you to do it, and going at your own pace and doing what you know how to do is a very big part of it. But I'm really grateful to be at 23 years old and have all these years ahead of my freestyle career to figure these new ramps out and take the whole sport to another level. And it's really cool to be a part of.
Are you pissed you missed out on that Nate Adams money?
Nate Adams money,
like, that was target money. That was like peak X Games. He went on a run. Because it's a shame that it did die in a big respect on like the progression never really stopped. But for whatever reason, like, it just lost the backing of
as far as
everyone.
Sponsors.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. That does suck.
And like, even now, were you saying before you're like struggling to even get bikes and shit?
Yeah. So Monster Energy helped me out massively. Ever since I've been with Monster, it's made my life a lot easier, and those guys back me a lot. But outside of that, trying to get any serious sponsors as far as getting bikes. Circo helped me out. They give me gear, product and stuff. But getting bikes, whether if you're getting funded money, bikes or whatever it is, I can't just get bikes to ride on for the year at the moment. I'm coming into 2018 and I'm still on 2016 bikes, and I'm at the stage now where I have to pay for everything. I'm gonna have to buy bikes and pay for everything myself. I sent out like 5 emails trying to pick up a bike sponsor, and I got nothing back. So there's a fair bit, it does suck that the
back in the day, at Nate Adams was factory Yamaha.
He
legit rode out of the factory semi at X Games.
It's
Remember they had
crazy,
like
yeah.
the Supermoto, and then they had like Chad Reed was there, Doug Dubuck was there, I'm pretty sure, and then Nate Adams is like under a factory Yamaha tent.
Yeah, it's
so
crazy,
it's gone from
yeah.
that to like the dude who wins like basically the baddest motherfucker on a freestyle ramp can't get a free bike. Like, it's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty. How times have changed. It does suck. It
obviously
could be
you're
worse.
not-
It could be
yeah, I
worse.
was
I'm
gonna
pretty
say-
stoked with how the life I'm living.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. Like, honestly, obviously you're doing it for reasons other than like money and free
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah, definitely. Like as you said before, my lifestyle is I get to wake up on the Gold Coast every day, do whatever I want.
With a different chick with 50,000 followers.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, it's pretty good. Tinder's pretty good. Nah, actually, my Tinder's broken. I think I was swiping it too much.
I reckon Toby broke it.
If anyone knows how to fix my Tinder, I can't reload any profiles. It's been stuck like that for 5 months.
I think you gotta pay the money, mate.
Or I've swiped out and there's no more chicks in the area, one of the two.
Yeah, that could be an issue for you.
But it's been 5 months and I still haven't conquered how to fix it.
You just want to get back to the US, don't you? You need that US after party ASAP.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on there, but yeah, an after party's always good.
What like before when I was saying like you must look at people and just be like, fuck man, there's so much more, like there's such a spectrum of like adrenaline and you know what I mean, and then you just see these dudes like get in their car and then they go to like a gym, do like a couple reps of bench press and look at themselves in the mirror and compare themselves against other dudes and then go home and then they make the dinner and then they watch TV and then they go to bed and then they do it again. And it's like, I feel like if people could even just break it down to even like the workout thing, like you look at your Instagram story this morning, like you're doing a workout on Burleigh Beach and you're running upstairs. So it's like, would you just like, what would you tell the average dude to like that if he isn't like, he feels like he's stuck in a rut, him or her, and they're like stuck in a rut and they're like, I can't do this, I can't lose weight, I'm not like, would you just like say there's fucking so much out there if you really have a crack?
Yeah, definitely.
But not everyone's going to backflip bikes, obviously.
Yeah, no, but whatever you really wanted to do, like you can have a normal everyday job. And like for all my friends that I grew up with in Canberra, I go back and visit them and they're still doing the same thing. Nothing's changed. They're still the same people. They're doing like the same jobs. Some of them are doing really well and they've built houses and they're doing really well. But every weekend or whatever they're doing in their spare time, like, all right, what are you doing in your spare time? What are we doing today? I haven't seen you guys in years. Let's like have fun. What are we doing? They go, oh, well, like we don't do anything ever. I'm like, what do you like? Well, we just work.
Yeah.
And they've just been trained by their parents or whatever it is. You have to work to do well or whatever it is. And they just don't do anything outside of their work. Or they just go to the same nightclubs every weekend, day in, day out, whatever. Like, okay, cool. Do your normal job, work your job that you're doing, but in every weekend, don't keep going to the same nightclub. Go on a trip to here or link your work and try and break your work so you do get to work a week on the Gold Coast or spread your work around, expand your business, whatever it is, but get out of Canberra, get out of that bubble of the everyday life and meet a few new faces, go on a few more holidays. Or even better, relocate to the Gold Coast.
Yeah.
And just reset. Like Gold Coast is like a full party. But
it's got everything here, man.
You
like,
can't beat it.
Yeah, it's like if you're not into partying and shit, man, like it's the best surfing in Australia. It's like you can find, there's motocross tracks everywhere, there's mountain bike tracks, like.
And you meet people just so fast and there is a big world outside of that. I've travelled I've pretty much been to most places in the world, and I think but Burleigh's by far the nicest place I've been, and I'm so stoked to live here. And every day I wake up, I just like it doesn't feel real.
Where where you said at the very start, where like you feel like the pace, like it kind of fucks with you a bit. Like what do you go through with that? Because I sort of have a bit of that myself sometimes, where I'm like. Like for me, I have like FOMO of
fear of missing out.
So I'm like, but I have fun when I'm like, say I'm in America or whatever. I have FOMO, like I watch Maddie and all you guys and Harley and everything. So then I'm like missing out on all that shit.
Yeah.
And then when I go back to when I'm here, I'm looking at all my friends in the States and so like like you said, it's like a blessing, and be careful what you wish for, because now I fucking miss people everywhere. I'm always feel like I'm missing out on something, no matter where I'm at or like what I've got in front of me. Like, and that's kind of like, that's pretty hard to deal with sometimes. So like when you said that before, I'm like, man, is that the same sort of thing that you've got going on?
Yeah, I've had times where I've been on tours and I'm watching all my best friends at a festival and I'm like, man, I'm missing out, I should be there, or whatever it is. But like even from being on tour, going from tour to, well, every morning I go down to the lobby and there's like 10 to 15 dudes just with the highest egos you could think of, because any person on Nitro Circus, they're on tour because they're the best at what they do, so they have really high egos. So we go from traveling the world every 4 days, we're in a new state or country with this group of crazy athletes down in the bar, hotel lobby bars, or just anything. So every time you leave your hotel room, you're just at this party or like this crazy atmosphere.
Which is intense all the time, whether it's work or party. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous, and there's just so much energy. And at first, it's like the biggest for the first few months of doing tour life, for like first 6 months to a year. It's such an eye-opener, and you have to learn how to just talk to people and be energetic all the time. And I think that's where a lot of my energy comes from, because when I come home, I wake up and I'm like, the house is quiet, there's no one here. Like, what do I do? Like, what am I doing? Like, I can't deal with myself. And I play head games with myself. I'm like, what am I doing? And I just feel like I'm wasting my life. So all of a sudden...
Yeah, when you're saying that, like, what's the... What are you thinking? That like what goes through? Is it negative shit? You know what I mean? Like, because I think everyone has that stuff.
Well, that's where the FOMO thing comes in. I feel like I'm wasting my day. I'm wasting my time. I'm not using my time productive. I need to start a new, like I need to work on something on my house, or I need to start building something at the compound. Or it's just like, I need to go and hang out with these people. I just have to do something all the time, because that's what we do when we're on tour. And then when you come home, you go crazy if you don't keep busy. That's why I'm training so much.
Yeah.
I go to training at like, I went to like 6 o'clock classes and stuff like that. And that's just like, just to keep my mind busy. I need to challenge myself or slaughter myself at the gym, like in fitness classes and that, with other people, and socialize, because that's where the 12 people are. So when I wake up in the morning, there's 12 people that I can go and hang out with or talk to.
Yeah, it gives you that outlet.
Yeah, so because if I wake up by myself in the morning and just by myself, I go crazy. I don't know how to deal with myself. Like, it's pretty gnarly.
Yeah, because I think a lot of people have that, but then like I wonder what it is on the other end of the spectrum of people that like they only stick to themselves. It's like I think you get this like cross section or like this, I guess not like a cross section, but like you get these polar ends of a spectrum where you got people that can't deal with people, but they can deal with themselves, and then people that like you that can't deal with themselves but want to deal with people.
Yeah, definitely.
So it's like I wonder, like, I think it comes on both ends who they're like, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I think people that can't deal with themselves, we're probably not going to be better off for us. We're obviously going to have to learn how to deal with ourselves eventually. But coming with the job, it really helps. And it's just, I know in our blood to just be able to talk to people and be on tour all the time. So when I'm at home, I try and make my life like I'm on tour, just to keep, that's me trying to keep in a routine. Yeah. People that just stick to people, just stick to themselves, and that, then it's like they're not going to really create many opportunities or friendships, or they're probably going to be robot people and just do their everyday thing, like you said, just go sit at a keyboard and then after go do a couple bench press, look at themselves, pose a life, might post a motivational quote at the end of the night, and then go to bed and do it all over again, and not really meet many new people or see the big world that what's out there.
Yeah, it's funny when I see that kind of shit when people are posting quotes and stuff. I always, like, my little go-to thing is like, are you trying to prove it to me or to yourself?
Yeah,
and it's
definitely.
like, I think that comes from knowing a lot of people like that are just those legit savage dudes that like they are a motivational quote. Like they don't, like Travis, like he is a motivational quote.
Yeah, you would never see him post
He won't ever
anything.
post that shit.
Yeah, he might. He will only have. Yeah, you can never catch him posting motivational stuff ever
because he's too busy living it.
Yeah, he'll just demonstrate it. If he thinks something, he'll just demonstrate it to prove a point. Like, you don't need to talk about it. I think you just do it, and that's one of the biggest things he's taught us. Hanging around him, he's always just drilled everyone. Like, if you say you're gonna do something, you do it, and if you don't, like, he'll let you know.
That's the cardinal sin.
He'll let you know. He'll make you feel like you're a real piece of shit if you don't do what you said you were gonna do.
The thing too with him, I think, like, when you watch the videos and all the Nitro shit, you're just like, fuck, Travis is just trying to kill everyone, and kill himself. But it's like, it's super calculated. Like, it's way more calculated than people think.
Yeah, he's a really smart guy. He measures stuff. He knows everything what goes into it, and if he really thinks you can do it, if he thinks you couldn't do it, he wouldn't let you do it.
Yeah.
But if he thinks you can do it, and if you believe in yourself, you'll do it, and you'll be like, holy crap, there's a whole new world out there, or whatever, and you're like, you just get this new burst of energy, and you're like, well, I can actually do this stuff if I set my mind to it. And I couldn't imagine how many people he's impacted.
Yeah, impacted. Yeah,
impacted that on for sure. He's created a formula for all the Nitro Circus guys to live up to, and they're getting on the Nitro Circus tour. There actually are a lot of opportunities for other people, whatever, in action sports, to be a part of it. If you're nearly as good enough, if you have the right attitude and work ethic in that, you will be able to
Dusty's
slide
a good
in.
example of that.
Yeah, definitely.
Like, Dusty's the man, and he wasn't like a pro dude really at anything, was he?
Yep, and then he's
a savage.
He's a sender, and still to this day, he wins like the toughest cunt. We have awards: toughest cunt, toughest man, whatever you want to call it. Toughest guy on the tour. He still gets the award all the time, just for the toughest athlete on tour, because he's a sender. He goes from doing the pit bikes to boogie boards to jumping the horse. Then he jumps on his BMX bike as well as his mountain bike. And he just does so many different roles in the show, as well as his 75-foot backflips are 110, which is like just...
That is loose.
Yeah, that is just ridiculous. But he's a sender in all areas. But Travis has a lot of time for people to prove themselves, and if you're going to send it, he will give you an opportunity to be a part of Nitro Circus.
That's like when we were saying before about, like, talking about school and shit. You can't... A dude like you, and same as Travis, like, you can't go in a class with 30 kids that are not that... Like, you know, we're saying the spectrum. So there's like the Harry Bink end of the spectrum, and then there's the quiet kid that draws in his notebook spectrum. And it's like, school kind of caters for the people in the middle. And then you're this outlier kid, and same with Travis, and same with all those boys. You're the outliers, and you're at that extreme end of society. So it's like, how has... Without Nitro, like, have you learnt about yourself as a person just through being around people like yourself? Because it'd be hard for a guy like you to find other people like you. Yeah,
definitely. Being around... I've been around people like me. I realised how much of a fuckwit I am. I realised how annoying I can be. I realised a lot of things. Definitely. I learnt how to... not be so stereotyped, not have so much, have a personality about it as well, and learn how to live a healthy lifestyle outside of living the Nitro Circus, cross your demon dream, or whatever. Like how the image was. I've learned a lot along the way. Just of having a clean balance and having a bit, taking in off a lot of people, whether it's Josh Sheen, how calculated he is, to Travis, how he's such a sender, and then just everything from outside. Even just like some guys on tour can do all their tax and know how to do everything behind the show, and they're really smart in life. And then you have the guys on tour that kill it, but then they're useless at life. So but then they'll have awesome qualities, and then they have fun, and then they're not so they don't take life too seriously, and then you grab a bit of that. So hanging out with all these really high ego people, and we're all performing and we're all doing the same thing. And meanwhile, everyone that's on tour, like I don't really have any friends that are so gnarly as far as in the Nitro Circus show. They're all there because they are the best at what they do and they're on another level. So to go take that energy and go back to my normal life, I've definitely taken in a lot out of them. And then when I hang out with my friends at home that are doing everyday jobs, whether it's doing their plumbing business or whatnot, it's really cool to try and pick up a bit out of good qualities like out of each area.
And impact on them too.
Yeah, definitely. I definitely impact on all my friends at home. Every time I come home, I play a game called Buffalo. It pretty much makes everyone scull their drinks all the time, and they're always trying not to drink because they've got a real job and it's not the right thing to do. But I'm just always trying to impact positive energy and showing them that they can do it and get up and still do their job the next day, still like whatever it is.
Yeah.
My thing is to cure hangovers. I actually have to run to get rid of my hangover. I wake up with like all sugars in my, like all the sugar levels from like Monster Red Bulls.
Monster vodkas.
Monster vodkas. Just like whatever we're drinking. And then I wake up and I like can't sleep. It's like 7 o'clock, 6 in the morning. That's what time I usually wake up, and I can't ever sleep when I'm hungover. So I just wake up and go for a run and jog it out, sweat it out. Then I'm already awake, so I just get on with my day. And then all of a sudden you're doing stuff and you're productive. Yeah. And then some of my other friends will lie in bed all day, hungover, just hurting. I'm like, dude, what you still in bed? Like, dude, we've been like, I went for a run, I went riding. Now we're going on the cafe races. We're already going back to the pub. Yeah. You're still lying in bed. And then, it's pretty funny how they do it. But
it's just that it's such a mental. It's that, I don't know, man. It's just like that syndrome that comes with being like everybody else. Like you go, oh, I'm so hungover today, and like you hear that, and it's like people just. They will resign to the fact that this is my day that I'm hungover, and it's like it's really. I always try and think of there's like a Navy SEAL saying where I don't know, it's not like saying, but they have like this rule that they live by, where basically when you think you can quit, like mentally you're done, your body's actually at 40%. They've done all this like testing and shit.
That's really interesting. I could whack off to that. I'm going to take that one for the wank bank.
Yeah, so dude, so you should look it up. It's like, basically like they test these Navy SEAL dudes in training to the point where they're like, we're done. And then they just force these guys to keep going. So over whatever, like I don't want to crucify exactly what it is, but basically they've come up with this standard theory in the Navy SEAL that at 40%, like when you mentally quit, you're at 40%.
Wow.
So like I try and take that because I'm a bit of a pussy. Like I think everyone is at some point. Well, everyone's got the pussy voice that says like, fucking stay in bed, man, you're so hungover. Or I'm not going to go for a run, or you know what I mean? And like I've been trying to really fight that voice. And like yesterday I went surf, like I was talking to Matt, I was like, oh, I'm not surfing today, dude. I'm smoked from yesterday. Like I surfed for 2.5 hours. I haven't surfed in 3 months. I was done. Every muscle in my back, my neck, like my ribs, my nipples were sore. And then Harley calls me. He's like, do you want to go surfing? And I surfed for 4 hours. So it's like mentally I said, no, I can't surf.
Yeah.
And then I just was like, dude, you have to do it. Like Harley's really doing it. He's getting you. So, and it comes from me trying to think about that whole 40%. So I'm like, dude, so if yesterday I surfed and I'm saying I can't go again, that means I only spent 40%. So I could, if I surf for 3 hours, I could do another 3 hours and still be at 80%.
Yeah. Wow.
And then me and my mates are doing like this 150 push-ups a day challenge. And then I was like,
yeah, that's cool.
So then I was like, and we've been doing it since like the 3rd of January because we actually did pussy out. Like we sent it over New Year's and none of us did it 2 days after. So we started like the 3rd. But then yesterday I was done, man. It was like a 4-hour surf, and Maddie was laughing at me because I was literally sitting right there, and I just did my push-ups, man, 25 at a time, and it's so easy to say no. So it's like if you live by that rule, and I think it takes guys like you can twist this bit too if you want.
Sweet, thanks, mate.
You can live by those rules, and it's just a choice to get up and do it, you know. But fuck, it's easy to say no.
Yeah, it is.
It's so easy to be hungover and watch Netflix. Yeah, you're right, it does.
And saying no haunts me, because as soon as you say no, it snowballs, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, and then you start saying no here and there. Where if you never let a no get you, you're like, you bounce just all the time, and you're like, you just have your confidence. You create a relationship with yourself, and then you know you're not going to say no. And then when the no's come in your head, you're like, fuck that. Like, I know that I've said no a million times.
Like, no's your bitch.
Yeah. So then you just, like, when you think that, you just do it. And then it snowballs. Definitely. Yeah,
and like you said, you just kind of get a roll on in your life of like that, yes. And that's what's been pretty interesting for me with the push-ups thing is like, it's not even a physical thing. Like, I'm enjoying, it's been like like over a month. And it's like the physical side's there, so it's like that's good, but it's more that mental side of like making yourself do push-ups. Like my girlfriend, we were in bed, right, and I was like, fuck, I've got 25 more push-ups to go, and I verbally said, I'll just do an extra 25 in the morning. And she's like, that's not how this deal works, man. So I got up and she turned the phone on, like the light on her iPhone, and she fucking counted as I did 25 push-ups.
That's awesome.
But it's like, it's more the mental exercise. Because, man, I've been guilty, like, especially doing all this shit. Like, I'm traveling all the time. I'm in airports. Like, you know what traveling, it makes you feel shit.
Oh, it's terrible. All
You're
the
away from
fast
home.
food.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad. It gets the best of you.
So for me, it was like, let's do something where I just have to say yes to it every day. And what you said before about when you said be a yes man, I thought it was cool that you said that, because that's sometimes like a negative thing that people think. And I only text you about doing this podcast 3 hours before we did it. So it's like, that's sick to be a yes, yes man in that sense.
If I probably brushed you off or like did something else, then it's like, oh, and then you brush the next thing off, and then all of a sudden you have 10 jobs you need to do, and it all just banks up on you, and then you just become a loser, and ain't nobody got time for that.
So you're obviously worried about that, like, you've said a couple of times like, oh, you'd be a loser, or I'll do nothing with my life, and like you have a day off or like 4 days in a row not doing nothing, you said you feel like a piece of shit. Why are you tripping that hard on being a loser? Like, where does it come from?
It's not really being a loser.
No, I mean, that's probably like the wrong terminology, but you know what I mean?
But I just think like for how fun my lifestyle is of going to, I pretty much never ever skip a party. As soon as like I see my friends drinking or doing something fun, whether they're going out on the boat or whatever it is, I get to go and do that. And I get to wake up every day and do whatever the hell I feel like doing, unless I'm on tour, and then we're having the most fun we can possibly have when we're on tour anyway. So I'm living this awesome life where I can have as much fun as I can all the time. And I think it's a small price to pay just to say a few yeses here and there. And it also, just even like little things with your comfort zone. Your comfort zone's your enemy. That's like one of the best quotes I've heard. The second, if you can, whenever you think, oh, I probably shouldn't do that because, and then as soon as you hear that voice, you have to do the exact opposite of that. So whether if it's, oh, I probably shouldn't do that trick because I could get hurt or whatever it is, or I probably shouldn't train today because I'm going riding today and I want to feel good for it and I don't want to be too sore. And you think of all these scenarios not to go to be safer or whatever it is. You try the whole comfort zone, it's your enemy. Try and do it for like a week and do the exact opposite of what your comfort zone, what you think is comfortable. Yeah. Whether even if you want to really test yourself, if you think I want to put it on aircon because it's comfy, do like no aircon for a night on the Gold Coast heat or whatever. Yeah. And then you're like, holy crap, like you appreciate everything more, and all of a sudden you're reborn again, and then all of a sudden you appreciating everything more, you're doing everything way bigger, and then you're having a way better go than you used to. Another thing I picked up on is your parents. I don't know many people, like if you still have a really good relationship with your parents, but as a kid growing up, your parents always, they're worried about you.
Yeah, they shelter you from risk.
They shelter you from, and they actually shelter you from being good and doing well, and they're scared, not because they don't want you to do well, they all want you to do well, but they're scared that you're going to get hurt or you're going to you're gonna do it, make a mistake, or you're gonna fall. They're scared you're gonna fall. You could fall and get hurt.
And I think that's important to distinguish that that's just not a physical hurt. That's like failure.
Yeah.
So like going for a job or trying to get a promotion or doing good at school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like pushing your kids, because a lot of times parents don't want to set their kids up to fail at shit.
Yeah.
Just and not even get hurt. And then mentally, like, you've got to fucking fail, man. Like a lot.
Yeah, exactly. And then, there's a good old saying with failing, like the more times you fail, that's the more close you are to
success.
Yeah. So the more fails you get, they're actually it's a learning experience, and the more learning experiences you have, the better you are as a person. So if there's a kid that's only failed 4 times, and then if there's a kid that's failed 80 times, like, what's it gonna hurt him to fail one more time? This kid doesn't give a fuck. He's just gonna have another crack and keep charging, and then he is gonna get the other end of the barrel and get the goal, get the trophy, whatever he's going for.
Well, that's like there's that saying, I think it's Eckhart Tolle, where he says there's no, like, you can't judge good or bad in the moment. All you can say is that so?
Yeah.
Like, what, I guess you could use any fucking analogy, but like,
you
definitely could think like I got dumped by a really good one's relationships, like people coming out of a relationship and they're like, they just got fucking dumped, and they're like, this is the chick that, like, that was the girl of my dreams, whatever. And then it's like, fucking loved her, blah blah blah. And then it's like, and then it's like, oh, that's so bad now that she broke up with me. But it's like, that hasn't played out.
Yeah.
To the point where you've either, it's bad, like you haven't rode that train to the end of the tracks, and there's no other girl that's better than her or whatever. But then you, like, 5 months later, you meet this chick that is 3 million times better than your last one that you thought it couldn't get better than. And all of a sudden you've been so bummed about this moment where, like, you judged it as bad in the moment without knowing what the future could hold as a result of that moment. And it's like, I mean, people can use it in so many examples of, just different things here or there that sort of happen. Like with me, I started working for Stroke magazine.
Yeah.
And that was my fucking dream, dude. I was always good at writing and talking, obviously. And I was like, I'm just going to send this shit into all these magazines. And that's like going to start me on this path of, like, that's what I want to do. Worked at the magazine for like 6 months, moved to Melbourne from Cairns in winter. Like, it was just a fucking sufferfest, man. Like, every single day that I was in Melbourne, I suffered.
Yeah,
I didn't get paid properly. Like, I had no money. There were days that I couldn't even afford to ride the train to work. I had to get a train an hour and a half to work because I couldn't even afford to rent a place.
Wow.
So I was like, just basically, that's why the whole Gypsy Tales name comes from. Like, I was just a fucking gypsy. And then I'd, like, get called up one day by the editor going, where the fuck are you? And I was like, mate, I literally can't afford the $1.40 to go to the train. So I was like, you're in this no lose. And then I had all this expectation of this job being like my dream job. So I just quit. And then I was like, fuck, I loaded up my van and I drove to Cairns, and I was like, this is the worst day of my life. And then, like, driving home from that, I had an idea, just popped in my head that I was going to start. It was MX Daily, which was like my fucking shitty website, which I got built, and then I started doing my own thing. And then that is what randomly made me buy a camera.
Yeah.
And then I was like, fuck, I can actually film shit. Like, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you take it in the moment as, that was the shittest. Like, I had idolized this, working for a magazine, working in the industry. Like, that to me, I was only like 18 or 19 when I did that.
Yep.
And then, like, dude, it was like heartbreaking to, like, leave Cairns, tell all my friends and family, like, I'm moving to Melbourne, like, you know what I mean? And then 6 months later, I'm coming back with my fucking tail between my legs. You know, but it's like, that was the best thing in my life, though. Like, and when I drove home from that trip, I was so depressed. I was like, oh, fuck this up.
You feel like you failed it at all. Yeah,
and the editor's like, you'll never work in this industry again, you know what I mean? So I'm like, to me, as a 19-year-old kid, that was the pits.
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
That was the moment that sparked what would actually become, like, the realization of the dream that I always wanted. And it was that failure. So it's like, And my parents didn't shelter me from that risk. They weren't like, look, man, don't go to Melbourne. You might get this, or you might do that, or this could happen. And then like, you should stay in Cairns. You've got a job now. Just keep your job. And a lot of people do that shit, man. And it's if I got bummed and give up, that's where the story stops.
Yeah, definitely. I couldn't agree more. I was living in Canberra when I was 19, and my dad, I was doing my carpentry apprenticeship, and I got offered my first ever freestyle gig as a freestyle rider on the Gold Coast, Movie World, doing the stunt show. Very similar to your story. So I went up there thinking, I'm going to live the freestyle life, like I want to do it. Dad, I've just got offered to do a full freestyle motocross show, performing 5 days a week, 2 shows a day for a full-time job for the year, with the Showtime FMX team on the Gold Coast. Can't beat it. That's my dream.
That's the dream, yeah.
It's what I've dreamed for my whole life. And then I said to him, I'm going to leave my apprenticeship. I'm going to go do this. He said, you're not leaving Canberra. You're not going anywhere until you finish your apprenticeship. Like, you're not doing anything. You need your apprenticeship to back onto. And this is what I was saying with the parents thing. Like, your parents want you to do well, and in society, it's grow up, go to uni, get a degree, whatever it is. I'm not recommending kids to, if they think they're going to have a chance at being a pro basketball player, quit your apprenticeship and go try and be a pro basketball player. It's a bit of a different situation. But, I just had a dream of being a freestyle rider, and I knew I could always do it, and that's what I wanted to do. He said, you're not leaving. I said, Dad, I love you, whatever, but I'm going to go do this. I really want to do it. And I did it. He said, no, I don't want you to do it. But I just pretty much went my own way, did it. Did the show there for 4 months, was killing it, awesome Gold Coast life. You get breath tested there every day, and I come into work and I blew over in the breath test. I had a bit of alcohol in my system, got fired from there, never do a freestyle motocross show again for the company. Like that, I got the worst. I thought right there and then, in that moment, I thought my freestyle career had ended. I thought it was a failure as a freestyle rider. And then I thought, man, how am I going to go back home and as
tell
nothing?
Your dad that you fucked up.
Yeah, and then I've quit my apprenticeship. I've just done, and now I've got nothing as a freestyle rider. And then I thought to myself, and I regrouped, and I just thought, nah, like I've got this. I've dreamed of this my whole life. This is what I want to do, and I'm going to make it happen. So I got a job installing solar panels. Stayed living on the Gold Coast. Rode every day, worked my butt off, did a full-time job doing solar panels for a year and a half. And then I got some shows within that year and a half here and there with going back onto the Showtime team just randomly. Some shows here and there, and then I got the call up from Nitro Circus. We seen you ride and we want you to come do a show. Got to do my first show for them, and then they loved me, and then I've been full-time with them ever since. But what you were saying with that moment where you're like, crap, like I think I'm done.
Fucked it.
Yeah, I was 19 as well at the time, and I fully thought I'd fucked it, left from home, and I was just like, I didn't have like I had a couple friends up here, but I didn't have a great deal of like friends my age that I could really, I only had a couple of close mates, and it was a rough time.
It's hard to find people that are going through, like, that can relate to what you're going through.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And I always struggle with that. Like, my mates are all, they're just like they're all like 9 to 5 dudes, and it's not until you can be in the industry for a while and you start, like, that's why I think you're saying, like, you party with the dudes you work with, because they're the people you can relate to.
Yeah, exactly.
And they're the ones that actually have advice for you. Like, Travis has got a wealth of knowledge and advice for you and shit like that. Wait, Maddie, do you reckon you could ask Steve if he could hold off for like 10 minutes?
Back.
What's your relationship with fear like?
Me and that guy go way back. That fear sucks. Like, I go through stages where I'm really scared, and then when I'm not really scared. Sometimes I get on my bike and I don't get scared one bit. I'm trying the scariest tricks I've done on a dirt bike, and I'm getting over cocky, and all it takes is one little injury and then it's back. So sometimes you have to be really strict on yourself to make yourself scared, because we do the same tricks so often, and it can get the best of you, and then you have one really bad crash and then you're like scared as hell again for the next year. So it varies very like up and down. I look at ramps and I go, how the hell are you supposed to hit that ramp? It's that steep, travel that distance, and then go up in the air, do a double backflip, land on that landing. And I look at it and I do my head in and I'm like, you're done. Walk away. Stop thinking about it. And then my next thought is like I just am not allowed to think about it until I put my helmet on. And then I put my helmet on and then sometimes I'm like, I don't want to do this. I'm not going to do this. This is way too gnarly. And then my next thought is, I'm like, well, do you want to go and sit on a job site all day and work, like have a normal job and not live the cool life that you get to do and travel the world and ride dirt bikes and have to sleep with lots of girls all the time? No, I don't do that. I'm a saint. I just play it out to be like that because I think it's cool in front of me mates. But then when I get with chicks, I'm like, nah, babe, nah, I promise I'm not like that. I'm not like the rest. I promise. I play those cards all the time. Never works.
It's just a game of chess, isn't it?
Never works. They all hate me.
Well, it's just like I was reading some stats the other day that I can't remember the exact stats. I'll butcher them, but basically, like women are the ones that choose.
Yeah,
like they're fully in control.
Oh,
and it's like statistically, it's so like
they're way more sluts than we are.
No, not in that sense. The fact that they get to choose who that. Like we don't just walk into a bar and be like, "Oh, that's the girl I want." But that's exactly what girls do. Like all these guys will come up to them, like 20 dudes, like, "Hey, what's up?" And they're like, "Nah." "Hey, what's up?" "Nah." Next. Yeah, all right. So it's like we just don't have any choice, so we're just doomed to play games.
Sucks, eh?
It's just, I don't know, that's how it works. It's what's got us all this shit.
Yeah.
Back to fear.
Need to figure out some game tactics a part of that. Need to fool them somehow. But
I struggle with like even surfing. Yesterday was a good example for me. Like I went out, it's on my backhand at Kira, super fast compared, like if I was front side, it'd be a totally different ball game. But all it is my back to the wave instead of my chest.
Yeah.
And then like I was just not going on waves at like skill level. Like I can do that.
It's gnarly.
And then in my head, but it just wasn't letting me go. And I fucking left so pissed off at myself because I was in it. I wasn't in a fight with waves. I was in a fight with fear in my own head.
Yeah, it's gnarly. Surfing's really hard. But
it's not like, and like I said, but it's with you, like you can do a backflip, you can you can ride a motorcycle. It's not the skill, and like you showed, like physically you could do the front flip rock solid. So like I guess we should explain to people too, like that don't know freestyle. So you go up the ramp, you do a front flip, you grab the back of the seat with both of your hands, then you let go, and then you grab it again, and then your bike keeps flipping, and then you land.
Yeah, climb back to the handlebars.
So that's that. So like physically you could do it. It was possible physically, but the barrier was like commitment and that battle that you have with fear. So it's like, and that's like on a way fucking smaller scale. That's like what I was dealing with yesterday. Like I've surfed all these waves. I know that I can, but in my head it's mounting up to like I haven't surfed in a while. It's like my backhand, I'm tired.
Yeah, and that,
you know what I mean?
They're all the things that go through your head at times, and sometimes you are lacking a lot of motivation and adrenaline or whatever it is, and sometimes the show's there and there's the moment and you have to do it and you have to be in the mood, and it's pretty gnarly. But fear comes, I think, just coming down to straight fear when you're trying something for the first time. As I said, I look at it and go, man, how are you supposed to jump from there to there? Don't think about it. When I put on my helmet, do I want to, as I said, work every day? Back to that story. All these things go through my head and I just click my bike into gear and start riding at the ramp and laugh at myself and say, have fun, mate. And then that's one voice. I'm like, literally, I just click it into gear and say, it's like you're being a pussy, suck shut up, like whatever. One voice will say, suck shit, you're going, like, or whatever. I just write myself off. Like, stop being such a little bitch, and then click my bike into gear and just ride at the thing and just do what I know how to do and hope it works.
And so, like, I guess for the people that are just in everyday life, like, it's hard to, maybe people would be like, whatever, Harry Bink, you're a fucking freestyle rider, you're one of the best in the world, you get paid to do, like, this, we're on a different level. But, like, for people just to put it into play in their normal life, it's like you can just do those little victories, because it's like there's the two voices in your head, right? There's the, you're going to get hurt, little bitch, or the fuck, this is going to be rad.
Yeah.
And then it's like basically it's just this wrestle, and like for me it sounds like you live your life by the fuck, this is going to be rad, and you squash the negative voice. So it's like you're running more listening to that positivity, whereas people that say like, I can't do this, I can't do that, I can't, they struggle to wake up, hit snooze, all that, and everyone does it, but it's like a guy like you, it's just you've gotten used to living your life in that positive voice as opposed to listening to the negative voice.
Yeah, and it's built, as I said, it's building that relationship with yourself, so you know, like if you think you can't, or if you think you can, you're right, they usually say.
Yeah, true.
It just comes down to that, and build all the yeses up in your head, because if you can crank out it, like if you can just say yes to everything, it actually it's just programmed in your head, and it becomes easy. You just do it it actually happens without even trying. Now when my alarm goes off, I've woken up that sore, I can barely move, my back's tight as hell, and I think, man, I'm not even going to be able to show up to training. I have blisters all under my toes, they ache, I can barely walk. But then but then my next thought is I don't even question, like there's those thoughts, and then I just keep walking out the door and just show up, and then do what you know how to do. And then the next morning you'll wake up and you just all of a sudden, before you know it, you're bouncing out of bed.
Becomes like a reflex.
That's like my ritual from Monday to Friday. By Friday I'm bouncing out of bed, but then I get on a mean bender till Monday, and then Monday's back to the mind games, and then and then Friday I'm killing it again. Back
to the wrestle.
Yeah, but then after you do it enough times, you get to the Monday and you're like, I've heard all these thoughts 1,000 times, and they don't even affect you one bit.
Yeah, that's sick. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty cool, like, I think, you know, for people listening to the podcast that aren't like a freestyle fan or whatever, because we sort of do it. It's not like we're talking to one specific person or sport or whatever, but it's like, if you can't relate to freestyle, or you're not fucking interested in freestyle, doesn't matter. Take away from this that the yeses build up in your head, and you don't have to be backflipping a bike to be winning that battle with yourself. It's like making your bed, doing, you know, and it's all, I fucking struggle with that. Or I have for a long time struggled with, I'll just do it later, I'll do it later. Because it's not the stuff I'd rather be doing other shit. I'd rather be surfing or playing golf or like,
definitely.
And then I've started to really learn that it's making the beds important.
Yeah, that actually...
And taking the rubbish out is important. It's like... because
as soon as you see it, you just do it. If I see something, I just do it. I don't think I've forgotten to make my bed in over like 2 years. I don't reckon. I spend a lot of time in hotel rooms. Whenever I'm in a hotel room, I'll never make my bed. But at my house, every day I wake up in my house, I make my bed no matter what, every morning. Like, even if I just wake up and I'm just going to go run to the shops or go pick something, like whatever I'm doing, I just make my bed by habit. Yeah. Yeah, and that's like, I mean, I don't do that. But I know, like I said, I'm still in that trying to really do it, because it's more about what it represents. That's where the yeses come to.
Yeah, it represents you're saying yes to every sort of thing, as opposed to because at the end of the day, it doesn't fucking matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
It doesn't matter at all.
And then
that's like, not what it's about.
Why am I doing this? Why am I doing all these yeses? Why am I working so hard? And that's why I get fucked up every weekend because I do yeses all week, and then you have to reward yourself. Yeah, exactly. Righto, mate. Well, I think we've been going like an hour and a half. Have you got any thank yous? Have you got any things you're doing coming up? Have you got any, like, what do you want to fucking shout out? We got the Nitro Circus tour coming up, Next Level tour. It's the first show's in March in Canberra. Hometown Derby. Yeah, so all these new big ramps that we were just talking about, all the Travis Pastrana progression ramps, they are bringing all these ramps from Nitro World Games into the show, and they're going to have it at every single show for the Next Level tour here in Australia and in America. So when's that start? That starts in March. Okay, cool. 10th of March is the first show in Canberra, my hometown. Yep. And it's basically going to be bullshit. Everyone, there's going to be a lot of double backflips as well as the big front flip ramp, all progression tricks. I'm not going to give the show away too much, but basically the ramps are going to be twice the size. We're going to be going twice the height. and I am scared as fuck going into it.
What else we got going on?
So we got the Nitro stuff. X Games is coming to Sydney this year, late this year, coming to Australia. First time X Games has ever came to into Australia. So that's a pretty exciting thing. And then, yeah, I'll just be cranking away on my Instagram story.
How do people get onto you?
Harry Bink is my name. HARRYBINK.
Oh, yeah.
And if you add an @ in front of that, you got the Instagram.
That's how you find him.
That's how you get him. Just straight into the DMs.
Slide in, guys. Girls, he needs help. We got to fix her upper, girls. We got to fix her upper project. Some of you crazy bitches love that shit.
No.
All right, mate. Thanks for coming in. Appreciate you riding the old Cafe Racer in, being a yes man, saying yes to the potty.
Yeah, good times.
Fucking keen for people to hear it and see it.
Yeah, good times.
Sick, mate.
Let's go have some beers.
You.